Hello everyone, we are in Random Committee brings to you a brand new episode of SIMSR Radio. I, Neha Tayal,
And I, Aabhash Adarsh,
present you the magazine stand, where we provide you deeper insights into our institute's magazine.
Today we have with us Pratik Patel, the publication co-head of Brew, the International Business Society magazine.
Hello.
Riya Agarwal, the editor of Finley, the Finstreet magazine.
Hello.
And last but not the least, we have Gauranshi Jain, the IMPRINTS head from the Alumni committee.
Hi. So now I will like to ask Riya and Pratik that how did you come up with the idea of this cover story?
Sure. So for Finley, the September edition of a magazine had the cover story on e-rupee and the road ahead for digital currencies in India. We at Finstreet always aim at imparting the best of the knowledge among all the B schools of our nation. And since we know that e-rupee is one of the government's latest attempts and the successful deployment of it sounds very promising for a better future of our Indian economy. And hence, we chose this topic.
So for Brew, we have the Afghan conundrum in our cover story this time. And the reasoning behind this was to provide the readers the complete story from a neutral point of view and not just the climax that most of the news outlets are covering right now, so that our readers can have their own unbiased understanding of the ongoing war and the situation in Afghanistan.
Wonderful. This is more than unexpected. So, what were your main sources of information for this issue?
Yeah, so that's a very nice question. Since we know that the more reliable the sources, the better is the research. We as a team try to make sure that our data is as authentic as possible and it is sourced from the primary data of reputed organizations like RBI, Reuters. Also, we make sure that there's a double check performed before grabbing information from e-news platforms. We not only aim at imparting knowledge to our writers but also to build confidence among our readers.
So for Brew, for the cover story, we have looked at the US State Department's press note on the Afghanistan issue. Apart from that, we have thoroughly researched the articles on The Guardian, Reuters, The Mint, and a number of news outlets act as a source for the world in the business news section. While for India at 75, we are turned to our regional dailies and government websites, which was the toughest part actually, since no mainstream media houses usually covers the segments. And for the Olympic segment, we have used the International Olympic Association's website majorly.
Well, I always love getting insights on such things.
Moving ahead, we have some questions for Gauranshi to help us understand this edition of IMPRINTS a little better. So Gauranshi, can you shed some light on the Alchemy program?
Sure, Aabhash. So Alchemy is basically a placement mentorship program conducted by the Alumni committee around the placement season of second year students. So the students are mapped with alumni of the institute as their mentors to gain experiences and guidance related to placement, companies and GDPI. It is generally carried out in two parts. The first being a mentorship provided to the students on an individual basis, and the second being a mock GDPI session conducted wherein the alumni evaluate the second year students, or should I say mentees, through mock GDPI and share feedback at the end. So towards the end of the whole Alchemy program, the students build a strong connection with their mentors and get a new perspective for their career.
Okay, that's a wonderful answer. How did the reunion for the 1986 batch go?
Oh, well, the MILAP 1986 Choral Batch reunion was a great success. So for those who don't know what MILAP is, the Alumni Committee hosts a reunion for the batches that have completed 35, 30, 25, 20, 15 and 10 years of their bond with the institute. And since it was the 35th anniversary of the 1986 batch, MILAP was hosted virtually. So the batch was an interactive one, I can say, because after the addressal of Monica ma'am and Bharati ma'am, we planned a virtual tour of the institute for them, followed by some fun game activities. And the alumni actually reconnected with their batchmates, which took them down the memory lane and also expressed their desire to contribute to the alma mater by mentoring the students.
Okay, there must be waves of nostalgia rushing all over the place.
Yes. As I mentioned, it was a very interactive bunch of alums.
And we have one last question for you. Which esteemed alum did you cover for this issue in Know Our Alum?
Okay, so for the September edition of Imprints, we covered Mr. Sanjay Shah, who's an alum of batch 1992, in our Know Our Alum section, where we feature the illustrious alumni of the institute. So he is currently the country head and the co-head of institutional equities Morgan Stanley, and believes that in a financial sector, one has to maintain a balance between the analytical skills and strong interpersonal skills to provide the best advice to the clients.
That's wonderful. It's great to know that we have such wonderful alumni all over the globe.
So now, let us be a little more cognizant about the Ivory magazine. So Pratik, which is the latest edition's personality in focus?
For the personality in focus for this month, we have US Federal Hot Seat Mr. Jerome Powell. Now, all eyes are currently focused on him as news about US tapering the COVID era and the stimulus gathers pace. Now, the last time US wind down its measures, the world witnessed its after effects, a phenomena now termed as the taper tantrum popularly. Although a lot has changed since 2010 and the world has learned from the mistakes, but the fact remains that it is a far more interconnected world than it was in 2010.
Wonderful. So could you just throw a little more light on your special coverage for this issue?
So for the special coverage, we have continued with Tokyo Olympics and Paralympics, but this time with more India-focused approach. We felt this was the best way to showcase our appreciation to all the athletes who have made us proud by proving themselves to the best, by beating the best at the greatest stage the world of sports has to offer.
Right, that is. So who are you covering for this issue's industry inside segment?
We have Mr. Nimit Minda, a supply chain manager with Piramal Glass Company, a part of renowned Piramal Group of Industries. And the reason why we have covered him is that with just 12 people opting for operations specialization from a batch of 240, we felt it necessary to gather more insights for the new batch, which has joined the supply chain management and which has changed dynamically since the pandemic. Now, with India looking to increasing its manufacturing capacity and e-commerce firms there's a more need of managers with operations experience. So with this batch, with this person who has a field experience to whom they can direct their queries and make more informed choices so that they don't miss this bus or get into a field which doesn't appeal to them.
Well, I must say that the Institute is really fortunate to have a magazine like this.
I have some questions for you, Riya, to help us understand the Finley edition better. Could you brief us about the sector and the company you analyzed in the latest edition?
So, keeping our readers in mind, Finley always ensures to cover different sectors every month. Our latest edition covered the aviation sector, as India is known to have its amazing history of more than a century in this industry. And we have risen to become one of the largest airline industries in the world. But then the pandemic happened and had its adverse impact on it. In congruence to that, we chose to cover Interglobe Aviation as a part of our company analysis. We know that it is a prominent player in the sector, and apart from giving an overview for the company, we also covered its financials and its future outlook.
That's really insightful. Can you tell us who was the lucky winner of the National Article Writing Competition Call for Articles that you run?
Sure. So for Call for Articles, we published the National Writing Competition on the Dare to Compete platform for every edition. And we accept articles from not only MBA students throughout the B schools, but also from undergraduates. In the latest edition, the winner was Nitesh Goyal from Sri Ram College of Commerce, University of Delhi, wherein he covered the topic bad banks, which was a burning topic in this pandemic. He stated how the bad banks are a solution to India's NPA problem, or whether it's a pre-prosperous idea.
Last but not the least, can you take us through the latest alumni insights covered in Finley this time?
Our latest edition featured Pratik Tirodkar, who is our PGDM FS batch 2015 and 17 alumni. He's been working with an investors relation consulting firm, and his article gave us some insights on how Somaiya as well as Finstreet as a committee offered multiple avenues for him. He elaborated on how his life journey was at Somaiya, how the college as well as the committee helped him mold his future. And we at Finstreet work like a knowledge sharing team, and our alums are always happy to collaborate with us as well as contribute to our magazine in the form of their life experiences or even in the form of their internship or job experience, or so as to cover some burning topic.
I would like to thank Gauranshi, Pratik, and Riya for taking out their time and being with us today. It was wonderful knowing a little bit more about your magazines. We are definitely intrigued and we are gonna go and read it a lot more.
Thank you, Aabhash and Neha, for having me here, and it was a great experience.
Thank you so much, Neha and Aabhash. It was a wonderful experience.
Thank you so much, Neha and Abbas. It was a really fun talking with you guys.
With that, we have come to the end of today's episode. In the words of Stephen King, books are uniquely portable magic. And I hope that we could bring some of that magic to you today. Thank you for tuning in. SIMSR Radio signing off.